uniform circular motion or magnitude of centripetal force. Why did Newton assume inverse square dependence on distance in his law of gravitation? He was helped by Kepler's third law. Consider an object moving in a circle with constant speed. If m is the mass of the object, v is its speed and r is the radius of the circle, then it can be shown that this force F is equals to mv square upon r. Now let us assume if a planet is revolving around the sun in a circular orbit in uniform circular motion, then the centripetal force acting on the planet towards the sun must be F is equals to mv square upon r. The speed of the planet can be expressed in terms of the period of revolution t as follows. We all know that speed is equals to distance travelled upon time taken. Thus, the distance travelled by the planet in one revolution is equals to perimeter of the orbit 2 pi r or circumference of the circle. R is equals to distance of the planet from the sun. Time taken is the period of revolution t. Substitute in the formula of speed. V is equals to distance travelled upon time taken is equals to 2 pi r upon t. Now let us consider the first formula of force in circular motion. F is equals to mv square upon r, that is equals to m in the bracket 2 pi r upon t the whole square upon r. This is equals to m into 4 pi square r square upon t square into r is equals to 4 m pi square r upon t square. Multiplying and dividing by r square, we get F is equals to 4 m pi square into r square upon t square into r square is equals to 4 m pi square into r cube upon r square into t square. We have just rearranged t square and r square here, but according to Kepler's third law, t square upon r cube is equals to k. Therefore, F is equals to 4 m pi square upon r square into k, but 4 m pi square upon k is equals to constant. Thus, Newton concluded that the centripetal force, which is the force acting on the planet, is responsible for its circular motion, must be inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the planet and the sun. Newton identified this force with the force of gravity and hence postulated the inverse square law of gravitation. We should know that gravitational force is much weaker than other forces in nature, but it controls the universe and decides its future. This is possible because of the huge masses of planets, stars and other constituents of the universe. You must be knowing about the high and low tides that occur regularly in the sea. The level of sea water at any given location along sea shore increases and decreases twice a day at regular intervals. High and low tides occur at different times at different places. The level of water in the sea changes because of the gravitational force exerted by the moon. Water directly under the moon gets pulled towards the moon and the level of water there goes up, causing high tide at that place. At two places on the earth, at 90 degrees from the place of high tide, the level of water is minimum and low tides occur there as shown in the figure. Earth's gravitational force. Will the velocity of a stone thrown vertically upwards remain constant or will it change with time? How will it change? Why does not the stone move up all the time? Why does it fall down after reaching a certain height? What does its maximum height depend on? Answer for it: the earth attracts every object near it towards itself because of the gravitational force. The center of mass of the earth is situated at its center. So the gravitational force on any object due to the earth is always directed towards the center of the earth. Because of this force, an object falls vertically downwards on the earth. Similarly, when we throw a stone vertically upwards, this force tries to pull it down and it reduces its velocity. Due to this constant downward pull, the velocity becomes zero after a while. The pull continues to be exerted and the stone starts moving vertically downward towards the center of the earth under its influence. The gravitational force due to the earth also acts on the moon, because of which it revolves around the earth. Similar situation exists for the artificial satellites orbiting the earth. The moon and the artificial satellites orbit the earth. The earth attracts them towards itself, but unlike the falling apple, they do not fall on the earth. This is because of the velocity of the moon and the satellites along their orbits. If this velocity was not there, then they would have fallen on the earth.